Be here again with you all. And this is David Downey. And our thought today, I do have a few things to share, but since we were here last, we've added a lot more music to our duo. And the idea is that it's vibrational sound healing therapy. So the point of this service will be for you to take what you need from it. Our first piece that we will be playing is titled At Long Last, and we performed our first wedding together this last summer, and it was for an elderly couple. The lady was 70, had never been married, and her fiance, now husband, met online, of all things. And he had been married and widowed, and so they had found us and asked us to play, and they're just a delightful couple. We've stayed in touch with them. But we found out at the wedding that Opal, the bride, had been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and found out right after they were engaged. And so it just stuck with me after the wedding, and so I came home and wrote this piece. And since then, there's a happy ending. Thus far, she has had successful treatment, and there's no trace of cancer in her body. So, yeah. So enjoy this, and then I will speak some more. classical music buffs out there, I stole a little bit of Rachmaninoff's love theme from the Second Symphony, so to put in the middle of that. Just a little inspiration in the counterpoint. The next work that is going to take place that we thought we would share with you this morning has to deal with an inspiration that David found. This is work he wrote for solo cello. It's called The River. And there's a pedestrian bridge over Omaha, if any of you have ever been there where we live. You can walk across from Nebraska to Iowa. And in the middle of the bridge, a lot of people just hang out and watch the river and kind of see life go by. And this was the inspiration for that piece for David in the swirls and the eddies. It's a very reflective piece and speaks a lot to kind of the different path I think that you have taken in your music. David trained as a classical cellist, and shortly before completing his studies at the Cleveland Institute of Music, just walked away from it. So it's the whole idea of, what path we choose to take in our lives and what plays into that for our future. So I'd encourage you to just notice what comes to the surface for you, whether it be something that you need to deal with, or just something you need to create, or go, or do, or be. I've been working a lot over the last, since I've seen you last, on energy work, as well as some ideas of energy ethics, doing my Reiki 2 certification and that kind of a thing. And I wanted to share just a few things about that with you. One of the big ones for me is listening to your somatic cues that your body is giving you in a certain situation, whether it be what you should or should not do, or eat, and trusting where you feel that. I think it was the first time I was here where we did a meditation where you would feel that in your body, where you would feel it. So, and very specifically, where you feel it in your body and how that makes you feel. If there's something that is really terrible for you, where you notice that in your body. And then thinking of a very happy time, a good thing, and how you feel that, if it's static, if it's flowing, if it's warm, if it's cold, how you feel that. A lot of people feel a lot of energy moving throughout their chest. They get, the tingling, or that kind of, your whole body comes to life. And noticing that in how things play out. We did one of these similar events at the Ohm Center in Omaha at the end of August. And immediately afterwards, I came down with pneumonia in less than 24 hours. And then I did this class on energy ethics and found out that there are some spiritual syndromes that come into play. And I wanted to share them with you, and I definitely identified with several of them, if not all of them. So, but they're quite interesting, and I feel like I should share them today. I actually happen to have them with me. So there are 7 different syndromes that can play out in your life, and the whole idea of establishing healthy boundaries for yourself, with other people, that kind of thing. The first one is paper doll syndrome. Those troubled with paper doll syndrome can't seem to break the chain of sameness that plagues at least one area of their lives. The cycle might center on an addiction, activity, health challenge, or a recurring relationship or work pattern. You can cut the doll out and make it look different on the outside, but it's still the same shape, resulting most likely from a difficult or traumatic event that has trapped you in a repetitive, energetic pattern. And then number 2 is vampire syndrome. You've probably heard of energy vampires, right? Others drain you of energy and it leads you to exhaustion. Common with people pleasers, codependents, rescuers, usually comes from a sense of I am only useful or valuable if I rescue, perform, take on others' crap. Especially in a family setting, this can be pretty common, and I knew it was for me growing up. Typically compromises the immune system, leaving you open for a host of diseases, joyless and hopeless. The third is mule syndrome. If there's work to be done, you have to do it. Lots of undone stuff for others, victim of shoulds, highly stressed, lots of courting to others. The mule syndrome stems from the belief that there is work to be done, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. Someone has to do it, and that someone has to be you. In life, this shows up as being the one always working, the steam engine, getting things done. In a family, unity, at work, etc. But doing others' work for them, even emotional work, robs them of the right to feel their feelings and heal their own pain and issues. We can only learn from our own problems. We can only heal issues that are our own. Number 4 is psychic sensitive syndrome. Overly sensitive, picking up information from many sources. High concern for others, over-responsible for their issues. Being a psychic sensitive is a lot like being a no-boundary person described later, except that you are actually able to hear, see, sense, feel, and understand the energetic data coming into you. And the data is a whole truckload of information, driven by a maniac that can't even read stop signs, much less a road map. You're run over day and night by information that you'd usually rather not have. Number 5, Healer syndrome. Called upon to heal others all the time. Major energy drain. Take on others' illnesses. Boundaries are a swinging door. Like the vampire victim, you are constantly losing energy to those seeking solace, those who would prefer to steal their assistance rather than obtain it in a straightforward way. But like people with mule syndrome, you also take on others' issues, often to the point of sheer exhaustion. As a healer, your higher intention is just that, helping and healing others. The problem is you end up with others' illnesses and problems while they get all the energy required for you to live a healthy life. Takes on and gives. Number 6, no boundary syndrome. Boundaries so thin and transparent that they let everything in and everything out. Hyperactive or overwhelmed shows up a lot as ADHD. Overvigilant, life in the fast lane. Addictive and compulsive. Sometimes it's hard to convince a no boundary person, especially the hyperactive victim, that forming energetic boundaries will be helpful. If you're used to being full of others' feelings, you've also become accustomed to not having to feel your own. Personally, I'd rather much skip this part of things. I know as a child this was very hard for me. Feeling my own feelings was something I did not want to do. Why not just hold on to others' energies, constantly replenishing the bolus so you can avoid your own pesky sensations? And number 7, environment syndrome. Extreme sensitivity to environmental events. Strong connection to nature, feeling everything, extreme allergic reactions, and sensitivities to places. So as part of sensing these sorts of things and the somatic things that you're feeling in your body, maybe exploring what issues are part of your boundaries or lack thereof, as I know was the case for me, how you can handle those. And I think the key thing that I have learned thus far is that I can hold the space for people, but I don't have to take on anything for people. Our next piece that we'll be sharing with you comes from the Portuguese word nafilabata, which is a cloud walker. And it means somebody that walks to the beat of their own drum. That's something that keeps coming up in my life. And this is, I've lost a lot of friends over the last 6 months from different illnesses, several from cancer. One of my close friends in the symphony orchestra here, Brad Bombardier, passed away suddenly at the end of July, and it was quite a shock. But I still sense his presence often. So this is dedicated to them, and it incorporates a theme from Carmina Burana by Carl Orff, or Fortuna, which is the whole idea of fate and how that plays its role in our lives. And then in the middle section, there's kind of a free improvisatory section, which you can have it take you where you will. It is the idea that we can choose where we go with our lives, and each day is new and different. Thank you very much. Our last work, kind of, you'll all recognize it, but it's something that it's kind of become our signature piece. Our duo name is Ultima Thule, which I think NASA just changed because there were some sort of long-distance connections to the Nazi Party. But, which we knew, we researched it heavily before we picked our name. But the idea is that it's music from a distant past, and many people have shared with us their journeying that takes place when we play. So if you feel moved to share with us, you can, but we always enjoy to hear feedback from people, and we do feel that there's something special that we've started here, whether we wanted to or not. It's just one of those things that just happened, just like our meeting. I think I shared this last time, but the evening that we met, I saw it was absolutely frigid outside. It was like minus 15 or something like that. And I finished playing a gig, and I saw the shooting star, and it lasted a very long time. Probably the longest I've ever seen. And I met David later that night. So these things happen for a reason, right? So this has kind of become our signature piece that we'd like to share with you. We're excited to continue on our adventure together, not only as partners in life, but also with our music and the adventure that has brought. There's something new every day for us in terms of how we can share music with people. So thank you so much for inviting us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hope you enjoy this.